Hey everyone, you know, this is going to be a response to two videos. One was an update video that SuperPrincessDaisy64 did recently. And then another friend, I guess it's a friend of hers, did their own little response video very similar to what they said, or very similar to what they did. And you can see it down in the title below. It's basically talking about the Sonic couples rant / discussion that both girls did. Now, I'm not, excuse me, I'm not saying that both girls don't have a right to their opinions. You know, that's basically what these videos are. They're opinion based. You know, we may or may not like, Sonic or Knuckles or Tails, or even Sally or Rouge or Amy or any characters that we may be fans of. We may not be happy with who they could primarily be shipped with or put together romantically with. And, again, it's just a matter of opinion. And the way I look at it is it's not only a matter of opinion. Not only is it a matter of opinion, but I also look at it from the fact that when one thinks about it, one has to look at sometimes these shippings, these romantic pairings, if you will. They got to look at it as if they're based in different realities, different dimensions, different worlds. I mean, the Sonic comic the Archie Sonic comic pretty much made that clear in the old timeline and even in the current timeline. They made it clear that there were different versions of Sonic everywhere. For example, when you look at the recently released recent as of last year released Worlds Unite, which was the sequel to Worlds Collide, the Mega Man Sonic crossover, you'll notice that it pretty much indicated that there was another version of Sonic out there, and that was the Boom version. So with there being something like the Boom version of Sonic out there, then it pretty much indicates that there are different versions of the character there. Or different characters of different versions of the character that exist. Period. Pretty much different versions of the character that exist, but in different worlds, in different timelines, different alternate realities. And one could look at certain pairings that fans want, certain girls that fans want Sonic to be with, as being based around those alternate realities, those alternate timelines. You could want Sonic to be with Amy, and maybe you want to base that around mostly the game universe and in the game world, and maybe a bit of the Sonic X world, and perhaps a tiny bit of Boom. Maybe that's what you want to base it around, and that's fine. When you take a look at something like Sonic and Sally, you're mostly going to base that around the primary Archie Sonic comic book and the classic Saturday morning cartoon series, Sonic Sat AM. You're going to base it around that. I mean, if they didn't want to base it around it, if you will, then they wouldn't have had Sonic's Christmas Blast incorporate some Sat AM elements. Most importantly, even in a non-speaking cameo role, Sally. They wouldn't have added her in there. If they wanted to base it more on games, they would have had Amy in Sally's place. But if you look at it from a different world, different dimension, different reality kind of structure, then it makes a lot of sense. The same with Sonic and Blaze. You can base that probably in the Sonic game world. Maybe. You can somewhat say that exists kind of in the Sonic game world. You could base it around their interactions in the Sonic Rush portion of the franchise. So you could say somewhat in the Sonic Rush world or reality. You know, you could base it around that. You could base it around, you know, maybe some of the moments they've had. I mean, when you take a look at Sonic and the Black Knight and you see his interaction with Blaze's incarnation of, I would say, not Sir Lancelot, but Lady Lancelot. When you see that, you know, it's like, and you see how she reacts to him after he kind of saves her from falling off a cliff. It gives you an idea that Sega might have, or kind of, you know, will kind of consider, if they ever wanted to go in that direction, putting someone like Sonic with Blaze. And maybe they will. One can never tell. The point is, folks, it's all a matter of opinion. You know, sometimes people like apples over oranges, and people like oranges over apples. Stuff like that. The point I'm trying to get at, folks, the point I'm trying to get at is, you can like something all you want, especially when it comes to Sonic shipping, but sometimes it's all a matter of opinion and how you view it. Now, with that said, let me give you my thoughts on some of the pairings that they talked about. For example, Sonic and Amy. Going back to what I said, you want to support that? That's fine. But if you want to make it easier on yourself, and if I wanted to make it easier on myself, I would say, yeah, I could support that, because I know it's based in the game world. I know it's based in the Sonic X world. I know it's been teased in the Sonic Boom world. So I can accept maybe supporting it based around those realities, those portions of the franchise. Now, outside of that, let's say in the Archie Sonic comic book maybe, and what could have been potential Sonic SatAM appearances, maybe I could accept them as just friends. I could see them as friends. I could see Sonic being like a big brother to Amy. No doubt about it. So again, if you want to make it easier on yourself and you want to say, hey, you know, I want to support Sonic and Amy being together, then that's fine. You want to support them in all on all mediums and all portions of the franchise? Fine, go ahead. But if you want to make it easier, like for me, like for myself, for example, then base it around the fact that it's based in different realities. The game, Sonic X, and Boom realities. Look at it like that way. Like I said, look at it at the fact that it's based around the Sonic X reality, which is kind of concurrent with the game reality in a sense, and it's teased in Boom. So you know that in those realities, those worlds, it exists. You can support it because you know it's more strongly going to happen in those realities than anywhere else. Now, if you take a look at Sonic and Sally, which is probably the most talked about, controversial, and most popular, if not most polarizing Sonic pairing there is, then you can understand why, then if you look back, if you take a step back and kind of research and see why fans like myself support it, you'll see that since the very beginning of the comic, as well as the SatAM cartoon series, it was always indicated that these two were going to be together. And not once did Sega step in and say, no, Sonic's got to be single in the comics. Well, that's until recently. But back then when it started, they never stepped in and said that. They never stepped in during the run of Sonic SatAM and said, no, Sonic's got to be single. No, they let the creators at Dick Entertainment, Sega of America, those at Archie Comics, they let them have free will. They let them have free reign. They still do so in some ways. You know, maybe not as much, but they still do so in some ways that you can almost guarantee or almost feel that down the line they're going to attempt. It may not be Ian Flynn, it might be his wife, it might be somebody new, but you can almost sense that they're going to attempt to put Sonic and Sally back together, and that's a fact. That is a major fact. Again, you can almost sense that. You can almost feel that, if you catch my drift. Now, getting back to what I was saying, back then, you could kind of sense that they had that a lot more free reign on both sides of the coin. You know, Sega didn't step in and say, no, Sonic's got to be single or anything. No, they let him be with Sally. They let that relationship, when you look at the cartoon, and mostly like the second season, and you look throughout the history of the comic, the now, 281 issue history, you will see that in both mediums, Sonic and Sally's relationship had a chance to develop. It had a chance to grow. A prime example for me, in many ways, is Doomsday, is the Doomsday Project finale, where towards the end, Sonic and Sally, they both have both Power Stones, and when Sally kind of indicates that she's going to go with him, when she basically says, once we, and Sonic tries to interrupt and say, whoa, what are you talking about, we? And he basically tries to say, no, it's just going to be me. She puts her hand over his mouth and basically emphasizes we, because, you know, Sonic's trying to talk her out of it, saying, no, it's just going to be me, not both of us. She puts her hand over his mouth and says, and emphasizes that we are in this together, no matter what happens. Basically, right there, emphasizing that, basically cementing, confessing her love for Sonic as her boyfriend, as her, what did they call it in the comic? Her royal escort, or consort, if you will, her royal consort. That basically, that moment right there, because like I said, Sonic basically, when she tells Sonic that, when she starts telling Sonic along the lines of, once we connect the stones, you know, again, Sonic tries to say, well, what are you talking about? What's this we stuff? And she tells him she's going with him. He tries to talk her out of it, but again, like I said, what she does, she covers his mouth with her hand and says, emphasizes, we are in this together, no matter what happens. Basically confessing, basically getting it through to his head and confessing to him right there that she loves him, that he is her future, and that she wants to be, I think she even said this in issue 123 or 124, she wants to be by his side no matter what happens. And she knows by doing that, he wants the same thing. Now, like I said, when you took a look at Sat AM, you take a look at the comics, and like I said, the moments throughout the 281 issue moment, a history of the comic. You take a look at that 26 episode run, that 13 episode second season, and you see how much the writers were able to develop the characters. They were able to make them who they are. Which is why you had a lot of fans, including myself, for the past 23 years supporting this pairing. And the only reason there's some fans that deject it is, yes, the writing in the comic may have made it force-fed. The writing in the comic may have made the characters look like complete jerks. But it was all part of the character. When you think about it, when you think about it and you take away certain moments, maybe certain issues, you look at it as character development, as growing character development. But also, if you want to make it easier on yourself, you look at it as existing primarily in the Sat AM Archie comic books, Archie Sonic comic book universe. Just like I mentioned with Sonic and Amy pairing being more centered in a Sonic X game related, Sonic X video game centered, and if not a bit teased a bit in Boom world or situation. The same with Sonic and Sally. if you want to make it easier on yourself, even if you don't support the pairing, you could say, okay, that pairing exists because it exists in this reality, in the Archie Sonic reality and the Sonic SatAM reality. Well, a pairing of Sonic and Amy, which is most likely to happen, or which we want to happen, is most likely to happen in the Sonic X reality, in realities like the Sonic X reality, the video game reality, if not teased a bit in the Boom reality. And that's how you look at it. That's how you make it easier on yourself. You look at it as if that's the central pairing, the central Sonic love interest pairing for that reality. So Sonic and Amy, Sonic X is more central figured in a sense for the Sonic X reality and the video game realities and a bit of the Boom reality. Well, Sonic and Sally is the central figures of the Archie Sonic reality, the Sonic SatAM reality, and heck, if you want to throw it in there, the Sonic Live in Sydney reality. Stuff like that. And then getting back to Blaze, you know, I wouldn't have no problem with a Sonic Blaze deal, even if it was teased for just the game reality, or maybe the spin-off storybook game realities. Think about that. Or the Sonic Rush reality. Like if you want to take Sonic and Blaze being together and you want to say, hey, that's primarily Sonic Rush, that's fine. That's the reality it belongs in. Go ahead, that's fine. You want to tease it, if you're Sega, you want to tease it and say, hey, we're going to put it in the games maybe? We're going to hint at it and tease it? That's fine too. But you make it easier on yourself by basing it in the realities that it's centered. So like Sonic and Blaze, hinted at and teased in the storybook in the Sonic storybook realities, as well as the Sonic Rush reality, makes it easier for you. You can say that's the central figure there in the story. Now, of course, if you want to support something like Sonic and Elise, which a lot of fans do not want to support, you know, which, again, like I said, a lot of fans don't want to support because of the fact that it's basically based around a game that's so terrible, it's considered the worst Sonic game of all time. Like I said, it's considered the worst Sonic game of all time, but you still, in a sense, want to support it, then you just look at it like, okay, Sonic and Elise, that's part of the Generations reality. That's part of the Generations world. That's what you do. You base it around that reality, that world. You don't base it on anything else except that place, that world, that reality. That's what you do. You make it easier on yourself by doing that. Now, if you want to look at something like, let's say, Tails' relationship, and you want to make it a central figure in those kind of realities as well, well, you take a look at Tails, and you could say, well, he had Cosmo in Sonic X. You base it in the Sonic X reality. You make it easier on yourself. That's the Tails relationship for that reality. You take a look at Tails being maybe with Zoe and perhaps being flirted around with Percy, with Percy, teasingly flirted by Percy. You base that in the Boom reality. You make it easier for yourself. It's that simple. You base it in the realities they're started in, that they're focused in. Tails and Cosmo, you base it in the Sonic X reality. Tails and Zoe, and Tails being teasingly flirted with by Percy, you base that in the Boom reality. You want to do Tails and Fiona, you still want to support that, even though what's happened in the comic, and even though fans like Mark Darklighter and several others are trying to remedy that, they're trying to fix that. You base Tails and Fiona, you base that in the Sonic Archie comic book. You base it there. You base it in that reality. You base it in the Archie Sonic comic book reality. You want to do the same with Tails and Little Moon because you've seen some teasing there? You base it in the Archie Sonic comic book reality. You want to do the same with Barbary Koala and Tails because you've seen it before? You've seen it in the comic, you base it there. Now, if you want to tease something like Tails and Nicole, and you pretty much feel that that's the best love interest for Tails to have in the comics, and maybe perhaps in some CGI shorts, which Mark Darklighter is going to be working on, then go with it. Base it around the comics if you want to. Or base it around the Sonic Universe fan fiction. Sonic Universe, the Sonic Fanverse reality. Let's put it that way. You base Tails and Nicole in the Sonic Fanverse. There you go. And if you want to base it around the Archie Comics Sonic Universe, fine, do that too. Because I know there's fans that pretty much have hinted at the fact that they would like to see that there. Because they pretty much feel it's a good match. Now, you want to base Tails and Amy in the game world? That's fine. You want to base it off some of the, scenes and stories we've seen them together in, in the early portions, like let's say issue 71. You want to base it around that? Maybe base it around some interactions in the game and all that? Fine, base it on what you see. If you want to base Tails and Amy in the Archie Sonic world because of some of the things you saw there, base it there if you want to. You want to base it off what some of the interactions and stuff you've seen in the games, the video games, base it there. You want to base it off what fans create in fan fiction and CGI fan animated shorts, base it there. Make it easier on yourself. That's what I would say. Like with Tails and Mina Mongoose, if you will. You want to base that in the Archie Sonic comic book reality? If not the Mobius Years Later reality, base it there. Base it there. That's where it happens. Make it easier on yourself. Say that's the central love interest. That's the main love interest for Tails. That's the main love pairing, or the main love interest for Tails in that reality. It's like this. Tails Cosmo, Sonic X reality. Tails Zoe in being flirted with by Percy, the Boom reality. Tails Fiona, Archie Sonic reality. Archie Sonic comic book reality. Possible Tails and Mina Mongoose, Archie Sonic Mobius Years Later reality. Base it around those factors, if you will. Tails and Nicole, Archie Sonic reality, possibly, or the Archie Sonic Fanverse reality. Base it around those. Make it easier on yourself. Base it around where it's being created, or where it's been created, where it's been highlighted. You take a look at Knuckles, for example. Knuckles and Rouge. That's based in both the games and somewhat the Archie, and somewhat that's based in the games and in Sonic X. So if you want to base it around Sonic X reality and the video game reality, leave it there. Base it there. You make it easy on yourself. Say that's what started, that's what stays. Knuckles and Julie Sue started in the Archie Sonic comic book. Leave it there. That's where it started. That's what should make it easier for you to understand. Knuckles and Shade. The Brotherhood, the Sonic Chronicles reality. Base it there. Get my drift, right? Basically, wherever you see a hint at a possible love interest or romantic relationship between characters happening, main Sonic characters, base it in the realities that they're created. That would make it easier on you. That would make it more acceptable for fans to be like, okay, I like Sonic and Amy, but I know it's based in Sonic X and in the games and teased somewhat in the Boom reality. I'll leave it there. Sonic and Sally, based on the created and started in the Archie Sonic and Sonic Sadie M realities. I'll leave it there. Stuff like that makes it easier on yourself. Knuckles and Tikal, some could say it's based in video game reality. That's fine. You want to base it there? Good. But you want to base it in fanverse reality? Go ahead there. Do that. Do your thing, if you will. You want to base it, you want to ship Knuckles with his new little, what's her name, assistant in the new Soft Retcon reboot? You want to base a relationship with him and her? And base it in the NU52 new version of the Archie Sonic comic book, fine, base it in that reality with those two characters. The point is to make it easier on you, to make it easier on fans like me, fans like SuperPrincessDaisy64, and fans just like her, people that used to be around like Sonic Comic World, Mega Beatman that's still around, Mark Darklighter, you know, anybody that's a fan. You want to make it easier? You base it in the reality that it was created, that it started in. You don't base it just because, you don't just base it on your overall opinion, but if you want to, that's fine. You want to base it on your overall opinion, that's fine. Go ahead, do your thing. But make it easier on yourself and say that's where it's based. That's why I'm going to support it the most. You know, you take a look at Shadow. A lot of people want to ship Shadow and Rouge because of their team-ups in the Archie Sonic comic book and the recent team-ups in the games. You want to base, but mostly primarily in the Archie Sonic comic book, you want to base it there? Fine, go ahead. You want to base it somewhat on the team-ups in the games? Go ahead. You want to base it somewhat on the team-ups in towards the end of Season 3 of Sonic X? Go ahead. But if it's primarily what you see in the Archie comics and you want to pair them up, go ahead, do your thing. That's fine. You want to pair up Shadow and Maria because of Shadow the Hedgehog video game and Sonic Adventure 2 and it's game-related? Fine, go ahead. You want to base... Fine, go ahead, but make it easy on yourself and base it in the video game reality. You want to put Shadow and Amy together because of a theory, a rumor that they could be the future parents of Silver's, that they could be the future parents of Silver. Fine, go ahead. Base that on the games, on the game universe if you want to. Base that in the fanverse if you want to. That's your opinion. Go ahead and do it. You want to put Silver and Blaze together because of what you saw in Sonic the Hedgehog, the 2006 game? You want to base it in that reality, in the video game reality? Thanks to Sonic the Hedgehog? Go ahead and do it. You want to base it because of what you saw in Generations? Go ahead and do it. My point is, wherever you see a possible relationship being created, base it in that reality. Make it easier on yourself. Even if that character ends up being shipped or teased to be shipped with another character in another form of medium of the franchise, just go back and think. Just remind yourself and go back and think and remind yourself that, okay, like I said, you know, you want to pair Silver or Shadow. You know, it's like, it depends basically. Sorry for that interruption. My mom called to check up on things because she's on her way home from work. But still, but getting back to what I was saying, it all depends basically on the reality, on the portion of the franchise, the medium of the franchise that they're created in, they're hinted at, they're supported in, you know, they're pushed towards, if you will. And again, like I said, if you want to make it easier on yourself, even if you have an overall opinion saying, oh, Sonic should be with Amy in all the mediums of Sonic, or Tails should be with Fiona in all the mediums of the Sonic, or, you know, you get the drift. Even if you have that opinion, that's fine. That's your opinion. Go ahead. But if you want to make it easier on yourself, you base it in the realities, in the portions of the franchise that they were created, so that you can understand this is why fans like Sonic and Sally. It's based out of, it was started and it's based out of the Archie Sonic comic book and Sonic SatAM realities. And on the other side of the coin, you could say, oh, this is why fans support Sonic and Amy, because it was created in the game reality. It was pushed in the Sonic X reality, and it's teased somewhat in the Boom reality. Make it easier on yourself. That's the way I look at it. That's the way I look at it. I mean, heck, I know there's fans that want to ship Tails and Sticks. I know that. I know that for a fact. And if that happens, if not already, you base that in the boom reality, even if there has been or hasn't been any hints or teases that there might be something between them. Base it in that reality. You don't say, oh, he's got to be with Styx in all reality. No, you base it in that reality. You make it easier on yourself. Even though you might have the opinion of, hey, he should be with her in all the realities, that's fine. But if you want to make it easier on yourself and your fellow fans, you base it in the reality, in the portion of the franchise it was created in. You don't base it in all realities and thus start some kind of what's known as a shipping war. You make it easier on yourself. So this is basically my reply to the videos that SuperPrincessDaisy64 did and her friend did. Hope you guys liked them. Let me know what you think. Comment below. Sorry this took long to do. I just had to get a lot off my chest. But again, my overall message here is this. My overall message and advice here is this. If you want to support a sonic pairing in all the mediums, that's fine. That's your opinion. Go ahead and have fun. But if you want to make it easier on yourself and you don't want to start any more shipping wars or arguments, you base what you support in, you make it easier, you base what you support in the reality or from the reality that it was centered in and created in. That way you have an understanding and others will understand and respect that as well. So